So 2019 at a glance, team accountability and annual game plans. Guys, here, can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah? Okay. Just making sure we're on the same page. Okay. So we are trying to put some plans in place so we can be more accountable to ourselves, so I can be more accountable, and we can all understand each individual role and responsibility more clean. This is something that, I've always got caught up on the busy work, hustling and bustling, and I overlook a lot of small tasks. And recently it really dawned on me the importance of really getting down to business, writing down the plan, and figuring out how to get where we want to be. So quarterly rocks. Every quarter, we're going to have a quarterly meeting. Basically I read a book called The 12-Week Year, which is a fantastic read if you have not read it. It talks about, setting your annual plans and then breaking that down into quarterly chunks, right? And you got 120 days in each quarter, essentially. So we're trying to set our projections early on and figure out how to hit those metrics, right? So if we want to we're shooting for about $1 million this year. It's a pretty lengthy goal, but I really think we can do it with the right action and if we have the right people in the right seats. So to reverse engineer that, we'll jump into that in a moment. But we're starting out beginning of 2019 with our annual meeting, and we will be getting together as a team every single week, and we'll talk about what permits best on all of our schedules. But I want to have a lot of accountability. I want us to communicate and work together as a unit, and I want us to all feel like we're building this together. Our goals for 2019, as I discussed in the last slide, 950K is what we're shooting for. I think this is a applicable target. In order to hit that, we're going to have to hit about 237K per quarter. That breaks down to about 79 every single month. So how do we do that? Overall, it's going to be about 95 deals. If we can average $10,000 spread per deal, in order to get that, we're going to have at least 600 motivated leads per month and offers made. Trey, this is huge, man. Once we really get defined on our process, this is something I got out of one of the mastermind groups, but everyone gets an offer regardless, right? If it's a dirt house and garbage and we think it'll be hard to sell, well, we can still make an offer, right? They might not like or accept the offer, but putting it out there and so they can actually see the physical number is going to be huge, and it's going to help more conversions, right? I was also told once, if your offer doesn't embarrass you, it's probably not low enough. So we'll go through some sales strategies, and we'll have a lot of stuff in your modules to help you become more comfortable with building rapport and explaining why our offers make sense and why we're where we are, right? Okay. So if we can make 300 offers a month, I mean, it's up there. I need to start bringing in some more leads to be able to hit that metric. But if we can put out 300 offers a month, there's no reason that we can't be hitting, 6 to 10 deals every single month. Yeah. And if we're getting that type of volume, we're going to get pretty dang close to hitting those metrics. So from there, I'm reverse engineering how many cold calls we need to make. Mary gets about between 600 and 800 touches per week. Is that about right, Mary?
Per day.
Well, yeah, per day. Excuse me. So we call about 600 to 800 people per day. Sure. That's an 8-hour shift. So I guess we could say about 100 people per hour on the triple dialer. Out of that, we pull between 4 to 6 leads on a good day. It's slowed down a little bit after the holiday season, but anyways, clarifying where we're at with that. And it's good for me to see these numbers because we can really figure out how much more we need to pump into marketing in order to hit those metrics. Core values. It is absolutely crucial that we know who we are as an organization, right? So what attitudes and beliefs do we need to carry as individuals and as a team? Number one, I think we need to be a beacon of light and possibility. That rules true in our home. That rules true in the community. Everything we do, we should be leading with our heart and leading with passion. right? So that leads us to our next one. We want to always learn, serve, and lead. So every single day, let's ask ourselves, what can we learn to become better, right? Beyond that, who can we serve? Who can we help, right? And then after that, we're learning new stuff. The next natural step is to lead. And you're going to teach others as you're going, as you're growing, and try to elevate them and bring them to that next level. We want to be a problem solver. That goes in all areas of our life. You research a lot of super successful people, and they don't have any less problems than you and I, but they just ask better questions, and as a result, they find better answers. So be a problem solver. That goes for our business. That goes for anything else that you run into. Always do the right thing. Guys, we want to lead with integrity. Integrity is a key component in business. We want to earn our clients and our customers' trust, and we want them to know that they can count on us. And last but not least is teamwork makes the dream work. Real estate is a team sport, and quite honestly, life and business is a team sport, right? Everything we do, we want to come together as a unit and figure out how we can be better at what we're doing. Company culture. Our goal is to build a team of passionate, goal-oriented individuals who are focused on a common directive. That simple directive is to help solve people's real estate related problems, right? We're problem solvers. Anytime we're speaking with somebody, you know, whether it be an acquisitions appointment or even a cold call, we want to act as a resource where we can help people, you know, we can guide them through their problems. If we can't come up with a direct solution or our offer does not work for them, then we can probably point them in the right direction, right? We work with some real estate agents in both networks that we're active in, and we have a large network of individuals, so we want to act as a resource, right? And piggybacking off of that, guys, it is my goal to dominate the local real estate market. You can see on the side, we got all the team members' pictures. I want to be a market leader. You know, I want to dominate the competition, guys. I want to really elevate it and bring it to the next level. In order to do that, we need to build a team, right? We need to inspire action, get out there and figure out how to make it happen. So again, we got Mary. She's running the lead manager position. She's awesome. A lot of the stuff on the back end, which is probably going to be a little bit more of Tarad. Tarad's going to start off cold calling a little bit, and we might actually have Laylo doing some cold calls as well, depending how work permits. He's at a car dealership, so we're going to work out some kinks there. But, you know, how can we think smarter? You know, how can we have an edge within this market, and how can we start to That's the goal. That's the goal. And Trey, I know you're, you know, an avid athlete, football player, man. You came from, I'm sure, some pretty heavy coaching and strategies, man. I'd love to hear your opinion on how we can better implement some stuff, man, to get one another fired up and how we can come take this market by storm.
Okay.
So that's the goal, man. Market leaders. Creating a strong company culture. Great teams communicate well, right? Across the board. That's another thing I'm sure you're aware of. Communication is crucial. We'll be using several tools. Podio is our CRM. That's our customer relationship management platform. Mary is running that for the most part at the moment. She's our lead manager. When we get some people in the back end making cold calls, we'll have a clearly defined training with how that goes. Trey in the acquisition department and Laylo, depending how it permits. We're going to get you trained up there where you can go in the back end. We'll already have the leads that are pulled up within Podio. You can get comfortable pulling up the comps, assessing property value, and figuring out how to go from there. Slack is going to be our team communication platform. It's super awesome. It's like a group text, right? So we're going to start implementing this a lot more. I know with Mary, we did that a little bit when we were working with Brent and some other people. Hasn't been a huge thing that we've been implementing, but I think it's really awesome the way that we can communicate as a team. So we're going to start using Slack a little bit more and Voxer. Voxer is similar to Slack, but it's like a walkie-talkie. If you need to get a quick memo out or something, you can open the app, record a message, and it'll shoot out either to a team or individually. And so it'll record it as soon as you open up the app. Say Trey's in the field. Oh, I got a house, 123 Main Street. When I open it up, it's going to record that real quick. Processes are key. And this is something that I overlooked for a long time as well, early on in my stages as a new wholesaler. You got to have clear, defined processes. And this is where you realize you can't do it all alone. So marketing, we need to maintain laser sharp focus. We are currently data mining for the best lists in our local market, which is going to give us that competitive edge. Consistent marketing channels, and we want to maximize lead flow, right? Pumping in the marketing. If we have enough leads coming through, that means that our sales and our acquisitions managers are fed, right? The main directive with being an acquisition manager is to walk inside of that house, build fantastic rapport, and walk out with a contract. That is your one directive when you're going on a sales appointment. Now, we are getting a little more comfortable trying to close over the phone in some cases, but if the appointment is close enough, we need to start really going on appointments, because building that in-person rapport is always going to win over a call on the phone, right? We want to earn the people's trust. That's number one. So confidence is key. Honestly, the first 3 seconds that you meet somebody at an appointment is going to determine whether you close that sale or not, right? You want to come up, you want to be breathing that confidence. It's got to radiate off of you, where you shake their hand and they know that you're the guy, right? We're the people that are going to come in and we are going to deliver, right? Having that confidence, it takes a little bit of time, especially being comfortable, getting through the sales process, running acquisitions, but confidence is going to close so many deals. I cannot stress that enough. And on the back end is our dispositions, right? At the moment, dispositions, I'm kind of running that aspect. I've got a solid buyers list. We're sending out email blasts, text blasts, and we have several agents, if need be, that we can market those contracts on the MLS. So that's the 3 areas that we're really focusing on. There's some more things kind of under the hood, but that's, the bigger picture of it. Weekly accountability, level 10 meetings every single week. So we're going to coordinate around all of our schedules and figure out what day we can zero in. We can come together as a team and just, have open communication. We'll talk about what's working, what's not, what we can do better, and we're going to track our progress. So weekly progress tracker, I'll show you at the end of this presentation. It's basically like a self and a life accountability tracker where you can map out. I'm big on morning routines. Have your power hour where you can read, meditate, journal, focus up and figure out what you need to do for that day. And then every single night, planning out your day in advance too. It helps set intention before you go to sleep. And the power of your subconscious mind, it goes so deep. Like you don't even realize on surface level, but 90% of what we do is based off of our subconscious mind. And I'm a firm believer that you can literally do anything that you set your mind to, right? It begins in your mind. KPIs, I'll show you guys that as well. That's going to document anytime you go on an appointment, Trey, we're going to go ahead and lock that in the KPIs. Mary's currently logging stuff at the end of every single shift, how many calls were made, how many appointments were set, and the hours. So we can track all that stuff. It helps us be more accountable, and we can reverse engineer some of the goals that we laid out earlier in the presentation. Driving for dollars, this goes for every single one of us. That's myself included, Christian. Mary, you're the only one that you don't got to go out in the field and drive. You can hang out in the house and do your thing. But driving for dollars, we're just, we're looking for the ugliest house on the block. You guys have probably seen the training. That'll be in the acquisitions modules as well. But if we can go even just a single hour once a week, right? I'd like to push it past that, but I do respect that people have different schedules and we're all busy. But if we can consistently get out there at least an hour or 2 hours every single week for every team member, we're going to build up a massive list of off-market properties. And we're getting pretty efficient with closing our sales here in Columbia. We got a little bit of work in Atlanta, but we're working through the process. So anyways, accountability with that. And last but not least, Instagram and Facebook posts. Doesn't have to be nothing huge, but at least once or twice a week, I'd like to put up, something, whether inspiration with our team, whether it be marketing saying, we're interested in buying houses with our branding on it, because brand recognition is huge. And to be a market leader, guys, people need to know who we are. Our SEO is already really strong in Colombia, so that brings instant credibility, but we just want to get out there a lot more and be consistent with that. So looking into our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Strengths, you guys know, they're internal factors. In many cases, we have control over this. Each and every one of us is going to have unique individual strengths, but as an organization, I think one of the big things is that we are passionate, we are honest, and we're goal-driven, right? No matter what the opposition looks like, we're going to push past it, right? Because we're going to face so many struggles. 2018 was such a tough year, first year in business, really serious about it. So many obstacles we ran into, but so many blessings when you really get down to it and you push through that. Weaknesses, how can we turn those weaknesses into strengths? Can we build, you have a pretty strong buyers list, but how can we double that, triple that, right? And then how can we get better and really gain that credibility in the market? Opportunities are everywhere around us. We just need to adopt a mindset of abundance, guys. Opportunities everywhere you look. The world is your oyster. We just got to get out there and start farming. Threats, there could be so many external threats. Market condition, the market's slowing down a little bit. Not as much cash buyer activity, but still, at the end of the day, none of that should keep us away from the common directive, right? If we're super focused and super good at what we do, then we're going to succeed. Weaknesses, I really just wanted to zero in this slide for a second. I pulled this from our core value sheet, so I'm sure Mary and Christian, you've seen this already. But what can prevent our company from reaching our greater vision? One is inconsistency. That goes for every single one of us. Lack of understanding for specific job roles. That responsibility is up to me because I need to define exactly what your responsibilities are and create a streamlined sales process and a SOP, standard operating procedure, how that works. So we're putting some things in the works. Everyone's going to have their own unique Google Drive folder where they can go through module 1 to whatever. Sales, we just need to get really good at sales. Guys, sales doesn't need to be that hard. Children are the best salesmen because they know how to ask for what they want, and they're not afraid to stop asking until they get it. What can we do better? Again, better communication. I think that's one of the most overlooked skills in business, but we need to focus on being great communicators. Metrics, tracking the data. We need to be accountable. We need to know our numbers and be able to reverse engineer those goals. Better leadership. I need to take more responsibility for holding myself accountable and setting those metrics and standards for each and every one of you. It starts with us. It starts with our mindsets. So I encourage every one of you guys to start investing in yourself every day. Pick up a daily habit of reading, figure out what you need to learn to become a better person, more knowledgeable, because honestly, success, I don't care what level you're at, there's always that next level, right? You're always going to be pushing to the next level, and respecting the process and the training is 90% of the value right there, right? Honor that training and you'll gain those results. So this is the 6 pillars we're working with. This is based off of the book Traction. This is our direction. Vision, knowing where the business is going. Everyone needs to know what direction we're heading. People, this is a question we need to ask continuously. Do we have the right people in the right seats, right? Is Trey the most effective in the acquisitions position, or does he do better somewhere else, right? Constantly tweaking and figuring out how we can do better. But once we find our strengths, we're just going to bring those out. Data, great businesses are built on data. At the end of the day, data is king, right? So the companies with the best data usually win. Of course, it comes with implementation. But we need to start managing our business based off of data, tracking our KPIs. We'll dive into that in a minute. Issues, we need to get better with handling issues. Christian is going to be addressing some of this stuff moving forward. Had a couple small hiccups. We had another cold caller, and she was great. You know, I liked her personality, but she had trouble communicating with people on the phone. We lost a few deals, didn't communicate our message, and it cost us a lot of revenue towards the end of the year. So we had to kind of restructure that. Anyways, Christian's in the process of really creating our procedures as far as that goes. Processes are just simply our way of doing business. What are our standard operating procedures? And traction. Great companies focus on accountability, and they build their organization off of that. That's how you create traction. 90-day priorities, that is our quarterly rocks, and we'll be really diving into those a lot in the level 10 meetings. Organization, we got myself, visionary, Christian, implementer, kind of, you know, one and the same. Focusing on marketing, how can we get better data? How can we network? How can we find that improvisable edge? Cold callers, we have Mary. We're going to be bringing Tarad on board. He's a part-time college student, but really wants to dive in. He's in Greenville. Acquisitions, we got Laylo. He's going to probably be handling some calls too. And Trey, we're going to have you, main acquisitions guy, kind of hitting the field and building some momentum there. Dispositions, at the moment, we don't have a clearly defined person. I'm kind of assuming that role at the moment. And you guys have seen this slide as well. How can we change the world? How can we come together as a team? How can we do more, be more, and become more in this upcoming year? And how can we inspire change and impact the lives of people while we're doing that? Okay, so that's an overview. That's our annual planning broken down a little bit. This is our KPI template. Everyone is going to have a piece in this. Mary is already implementing. She has, you can see here, cold calls. She's documenting New Year, had the holiday, and she's logging in all her hours. We track that at the end of every single week into January, quarterly, and then annually. And we can break down those numbers and figure out what we need to do better. Stateside cold calls, you know, we'll have a space for Tarad. Anyone else that jumps on, we will open up a space as well. Mary, at the end, we're going to have you start tracking just a little bit more. It's not a whole lot more than you've been doing, but like at the end of every week, we're just going to take your overall numbers, plug them here. We're going to take any other cold call numbers, plug them there.
Okay.
If you can see when the leads come in direct mail or into Podio, and you know how we have the prompting, it says lead from direct mail.
Mm-hmm.
If we can maybe do this once a week, maybe on Fridays, you'll see how many of those leads came in. Or if it's easier to do it, if it's easier to do it every day, you know, and just do one. And if another one comes through out of two, we need to start tracking those a little bit better. But you're going to be overseeing some of that stuff. If the website lead comes in, because that's all tracked in Podio as well, you'll be documenting if it's a website lead as well, because we need to know how effective each strategy is going. Cold calling, direct mail, website. You know, we're going to probably do some RVM coming up. It works decent, but cold calling, in my opinion, is more effective. So on and so forth. Facebook, we're probably going to get a little more active with the Facebook ads. I'm having some videos recorded through Fiverr, but we're going to try to build some more credibility and name recognition through that. So anyways, appointments made. I'm clarifying how this is exactly going to go. Trey, we'll jump down to here. Acquisitions. If you go on an appointment, just simply log in your number, you know, went on one appointment this week, and this is the 1st of January through, you know, the 6th. If you went on another one, 2, and we'll see how many appointments we're sending you on each week. How many offers you made. You see 30 appointments, 30 offers. Even if it's garbage or we don't really want it, we can make them a lowball offer. You know, everyone gets an offer. Worst thing that happens if we don't come through, which we always want to deliver, but worst thing we do is have to cancel a contract, right? And then from there, you'll track if you have a contract, you know, right, put that in there. And then on the other side of that, whenever we sell the property, we'll put the contract value there, right?
All right.
Same thing for listings. If people want a retail price for their house, that's always going to get referred to a real estate agent. It's going to be Lisa here in Columbia, and Atlanta. We'll identify some people. We have a couple connections out there, but that's that for now. JV deals. We actually had one guy approach me yesterday. We're probably going to market his stuff out to the list and see how that goes. All this stuff, CFO, we're going to have to implement some of this, but we have, kind of what our cost is every single month there. So anyways, we'll break it down, figure out exactly what our cost per lead is, so on and so forth. But each person, all you need to do, Mary, you got this lead manager space. Acquisitions, you'll have your own space here. That's just, think of it as a swimming lane. You're staying in that little swimming lane and just documenting what we got. The goal tracker worksheet that I was telling you about, Trevor Mock came out with this. I think he got it from another investor, but I found it super beneficial. I've implemented it the past couple days. Holds me accountable. When I set my intentions and I get my morning routine in, I am so much more effective in my day. So wake up at 5:30. I didn't hit the metric yesterday, so I redded it out. Today I made it happen. My watch went off, got up, hopped out of bed, got my blood pumping, did some sit-ups, slammed some water, 10 minutes meditation. Guys, as corny as it might sound, some of the greatest achievers, most of the greatest achievers meditate every single day. Steve Jobs, Oprah, Tim Ferriss, all these people, they clear their minds, they rid of all the junk, and as a result, they can focus so much better with that. Gratitude should be number one. If we're not thankful in our current season and where we're at in our life, then how do we expect God to give us anything more, right? We need to find gratitude every day. And just to be clear, every single one of us fights a battle within our minds every day as well, right? It's like the voice of good and the voice of evil. You're always going to struggle. You're always going to have those voices of doubt trying to tell you that you're not good enough and you'll never push through. But it's important to set our intentions. It's almost like controlling your mind, controlling your subconscious through reading, through meditation, through positive activities that fuel you with the power that you need to go. That's why I call it the power hour. So it's helped with me. You guys can choose to use this or not. I was also thinking, back to this real quick. Driving for dollars. That's the only other spot that stateside that we'll be working on. So for any lead that you bring in, just say you got 10 leads driving this day. Boom, locked in, right? Hold us a little bit accountable. I was thinking of doing some stuff here, and instead of just doing the personal thing, doing some team accountability where everyone turns it, green or red. But I am undecided if we're going to do that or not. I don't want to do anything that overloads people or makes them feel uncomfortable, but I do want us to be accountable to one another. So anyways, on the side here, you got your goals for the month. So you can see you've got the annual vision plan, got to finish planning, clarify team expectations, host our annual meeting. I need to finish the acquisitions training modules so everyone has clearly defined roles, and research new data lists. We need better data this year. We got good data, but we're trying to have some bots built that will scrape the data for us without having to pay a freelancer and outsource that work. Podio, quick touch into here, because this is the main thing that we will be communicating as far as lead management as a team. 90% of everything we do is going to be under the Property Leads app. We'll have some further modules diving directly into this. But basically, if you're cold calling, we're going through the script. If someone's interested in calling, or interested in selling, we're inputting their information. You can see here, this is a lead out of ATL. We got the property address. Seller's name, phone number. So, you got that locked in. Here's the motivation. Is hot, medium, or cold? Is it a single family, mobile home, vacant land? What county? What list? Cold calls, direct mail, website, all that. We got the property address, which you'll pull the comps on this, and you have the information, motivation. Mary does a really good job at pulling out motivation when discussing with sellers, and in a lot of cases, she gets them to throw out an asking price, and it gives us a pretty good opportunity to gauge our offer off of that. Of course, we want to always go below their asking price, because if that's what they're telling you on the phone, that's probably not their bottom dollar, right? So we want to figure out what that is. But it's really cool. It's automated. It's got, what is the size of the house, the year built, tax assessed value, Zestimate, rent estimate. It dives in deep, and we can pull up the comps. We got a total view Zillow comp here, to the point where, let's say this needs low cosmetic repairs, which is, it multiplies basically $8 a square foot times the square footage. All that's calculated in. Estimated repairs $8K. Our wholesale fees already locked in. Boom, comes up with our offer right there. Now, it's not always clean cut. It doesn't, it's not always spot on, but man, is it pretty effective, and it's quick, right? You want to get out there, you want to shoot out an offer, it pulls it up pretty quick. Comps will be a completely different section, but we use about 3 different sources: Zillow, REI Pro, Total View. But you can just click that link within our CRM. It'll pull up Zillow, pull up the property information. If it's got any pictures, you can do that. I like to pull up Google Street View and do a lot of other stuff, but that's basically, Property Leads app, and most of what we'll be doing will be locked in here. And that's it, guys. I think we'll be done with the acquisitions training modules probably halfway through next week. We got a lot of work to do on those, and I want to make sure that we're really clear with, our roles, how that works. It really doesn't need to be complicated. Each role should be easy enough that a high school kid could step in. Shoot, a junior high schooler should be able to implement it. No one's going to take them serious, but think about it. Great organizations, franchises, McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, they have standard operating procedures where people clearly understand their roles, and it's simple. It doesn't need to be that complicated, guys. So we're going to try to break it down and be really simple. So that's really it. That's where we're going. That's our vision. And I want you guys to take ownership of where we're at. I want to feel like a family where we can communicate across all platforms. Mary, I really want to start being there for you a lot more. I know this holiday season's been all over the place, but just know that we're super grateful for you, because you're awesome. You keep this ship afloat. And this year we're gonna take over the world.
Yeah.
You sounded it.
So that's it, guys. We got this call recorded, so I'll share it with you. You can review it so we have clarity and our expectations are where they need to be. There's a lot of stuff we're going to break down, a lot of training modules. We're going to try to get more active in the wholesaling on demand group. That's kind of our own space as well. That goes along with the weekly Facebook posts. If you guys can just jump in there and chime in. We're trying to grow it organically. There's not a whole lot of interaction yet because I've been absent for the past couple weeks doing a lot of family stuff. But I do want to get that thing and start growing it. You start growing organically like that, and people just start flocking to you, right? People start seeing you as a local authority, and they start bringing deals your way. Another thing I want to talk with you about, Trey, is at some point this year, I want to start a meetup here in Columbia. I want to start doing a monthly meetup where we can bring some people together and we can just mastermind, we can talk vision and figure out how we can do better in this market, build relationships, sell deals, we'll figure out how to creatively deal structure and all that noise. So we'll talk about that moving forward, man. I think we can maybe put that on like our 6-month goal sheet, maybe even 4. Once it starts warming up, once summer hits, we'll put some plans in place. But first things first, we need to have laser sharp focus and just focus on us, focus on building the business and getting great at each individual role. So anyways, that's it. This is our Wholesaling on Demand group. I know you've all seen it, but aside from your personal posts, and I can send you some copy as well, some pictures, branding, all that stuff. But let's start really getting consistent, guys. Let's communicate and let's bring the heat.
Do it, man.
All right.
Yes, sir. Let's do this.
Cool. Well, from here, I'm going to send invites for the Slack, the Voxer. We'll start doing some team communication. I think I already added you to the Podio workspace, Trey. You've been able to access this stuff, correct?
Yeah, that and also Deal Machine.
Boom. Awesome. Deal Machine as well. I didn't touch on that. Yeah, any acquisitions manager, any person boots on the ground will be using Deal Machine when driving for dollars. That's going to help farm our off-market leads list and really start to grow that organically. And then from there, I'll pull it off and we're building our database. And yeah, man, big things to come. So that's it, guys. That is our annual plan wrapped up. I think that's about everything we needed to touch on. Tomorrow, last day of the week, I will make sure to start implementing this stuff. Make sure everyone has the Slack app so we can talk as a team. I'd like to maybe have Trey, maybe you can connect, get to know Mary a little bit better as well, see how she kind of keeps things floating, and we'll connect soon. I'm thankful for you guys.
Thankful for all you guys too as well, man.